Time, one of the biggest mysteries in our universe. The past, the present, and the future. Where did it start? And where will it end? Scientists are getting close to the answers, but not physically close. There are many questions out there, unanswered, about the complicated thing called time. This leads us on to one of the most common questions ever asked. What if? What if we could live days that have passed and died as if they were today? What if we could leap into the future to see what is to come of the human race? What if we could travel in time? That question is a science fiction writer's goldmine. Ever since H.G. Wells' The Time Machine, TV and film producers have been in love with the concept of characters travelling through the fourth dimension.
Scientists such as Einstein have had their theories on the possibilities of time travel. Everyone at some point in their lives has wished or dreamt for time travel. Whether that's going back to see your grandparents when they were your age, or just simply to have told yourself to leave just that little bit early to catch that bus. In 1895, the novel The Time Machine was written by writer H.G. Wells. It involved an inventor with the name of H.G. Wells, who invented a time machine to observe time as he travels freely through it. In 1960, this was adapted into a screenplay, where Rod Taylor took the famous role. In 2002, this novel was again reinvented to give a more dramatic and action-packed viewpoint of the story, involving romance, amazing special effects, and a beautiful soundtrack filled with so much inspiration. The time travel sequence in this film seems to be the most beautiful time travel sequence ever produced. The inventor this time was named Professor Alexander Hartigan and was portrayed by actor Guy Pearce. Many of the inventors of the scientific world create their time machines to observe upon the past and future. Alexander Hartigan wasn't at first, but following his attempts to change the past, he then used time travel as a sense of escapism, to observe the future and how things evolve. Characters smart enough to invent a time machine know the implications of travelling through time, with such things as paradoxes to be wary of. Observer time travellers can be compared to that of a wildlife documenter, especially in the past. They can only view the world around them. They cannot interfere in any way, shape or form. When travelling in the future, observers can be faced with information that could be harmful when returning back to the present. For example, if they are to witness a murder in the future, when returned back to the present, they could not prevent what was witnessed in the future, however awful the event was. A good example of this would be the story of the time traveller's wife, because this love story involves a lot of non-chronological events that both the time traveller and his wife have to keep from each other in order to keep time in its place. In 1985, Rob Zemeckis created the iconic film known as Back to the Future. This film was about an 80s teenage boy who accidentally finds himself 30 years in his past. He then encounters his parents at a crucial point in their meeting. Not being aware of the effects of time travel, Marty McFly accidentally interferes with the moment his mother and father first fell in love. He then finds that photographic evidence of his brother and sister start to fade in a result of what has changed. On top of his goal to get back to the future, he also must get his parents to fall in love if he wants to exist in the future. If he fails to do so, this could create a paradox. The biggest fear during time travel is the complicated thing known as a paradox. A common example of a paradox would be the grandfather paradox. Listen carefully. Say you went back in time and accidentally killed your own grandfather before he met your grandmother. This would then mean that your mother wouldn't be born, nor would you be. This then means that you couldn't have gone back in time to accidentally kill your grandfather. So he, your mother and yourself are alive, which then means that you were alive to accidentally kill your grandfather. So that means that your mother and you are not alive. So that means that you get the picture. This is a paradox. Some shows look at time travel differently. Some are more goal-orientated in the way that protagonists have a goal to change history. Quantum Leap is a good example of this form of story.
Theorising that one could time travel within his own lifetime, Dr. Sam Beckett stepped into the Quantum Leap accelerator and vanished. He awoke to find himself trapped in the past, facing mirror images that were not his own, and driven by an unknown force to change history for the better. His only guide in this journey is Al, an observer from his own time, who appears in the form of a hologram that only Sam can see and hear. And so Dr. Beckett finds himself leaping from life to life, striving to put right what once went wrong, and hoping each time that his next leap will be the leap home.
In 1963, the longest-running sci-fi program was created, Doctor Who. This lovable program involved an iconic time machine known as the TARDIS. Disguised as a 1950s police public call box, it seemed nothing like a time machine. But as soon as the doors were open, we were presented with a room of such scale. The TARDIS is dimensionally transcendental, meaning it is bigger on the inside than the outside. For nearly 50 years, the Doctor and his TARDIS have flown around time and space, fighting monsters and discovering new worlds. The Doctor, on the other hand, did not invent his time machine. He stole it to get away from his home planet of Gallifrey. So yes, the Doctor is an alien. He is a Time Lord with many different faces. Time Lords have the power to regenerate, which allows them to take on a new appearance and personality, while still being the same man.
Michio Kaku has studied the possibilities of practical time travel. The theory of time travel is argued to be possible. He believes that with such things as wormholes and light speed, there is a chance time travel is practical at some point in the course of the human evolution. Another factor to consider is the amount of energy that it will take to actually travel in time. People have stated that time travel could never happen because of the fact we're not receiving tourists from the future watching over us. Michio Kaku believes that with parallel universes and alternate timelines, there is still potential, even though there is no proof as of yet. So what do you think? Will the dream of time travel ever become a reality? Or will it only ever exist in the world of fiction? How long will it take until we can travel in time? All these yet to be answered questions, and not enough answers. But hey, there's one thing for certain. It'll definitely take time.